No, but have you ever had an Android?
No, of course not.
Well, I've had an Android. I honestly, until I switched when PFT, I accidentally tweeted out PFT's number,
And my penis.
and your thumb. Let's just get that. No, but like, let's really get this out on the table. It was not your penis. It was your thumb.
Welcome back to Nanodosing. It's Tuesday. It's March 26th. We're in the thick of March. We're spring, baby. Spring is sprung. Feeling good. About 60 degrees today. It did snow over the weekend, but we're looking good. I think we made it. Spring's here. And this show is brought to you by the Rent app. Today we've got something truly special for all the renters and the landlords out there. It's the Rent app. And rent is due next week, right? When is the first? Is that
Monday.
not good at math? A week from today, rent's due. So might as well use the Rent app. Rent app is a great way for you to pay, or if you're a landlord, for you to get paid. It's something that we all have to do is pay rent. And let's be honest, it can sometimes be a bit of a hassle. What if there was a way to make it all easier, straightforward, and even beneficial for your financial future? Introducing the Rent app, the ultimate tool for renters everywhere. The Rent app takes the hassle out of paying rent, and it deposits your payments directly into your landlord's bank account. No more trips to the ATM. You don't have to mail checks. No more managing balances. Just simple, direct transactions that make life easier for both you and your landlord. No fees, no weekly limits. The Rent app is completely free for you to use. No need for your landlord to create an account. It's completely free for them too. Rent app is also about helping you build a brighter financial future by optionally reporting your on-time rent payments to the 3 major credit bureaus. The Rent app brings you one step closer to home ownership and helps boost your credit score. So why wait? Head to the App Store and download the Rent app today and follow Rent app at Rent app on Instagram and Twitter. For our listeners, we have an exclusive deal. Go to rent.app/barstool to get $50 cash back on your first rent payment. If you're a landlord, you can go to rent.app/landlord to get paid on time and without hassle. All right, we're back. It was an exciting weekend. It's March, baby. Tennessee survives and advances. They won a game that they would normally lose, I would say.
Every team that has ever, before that, every team that had ever shot, I believe, 15% or less from three with 20 attempts and 35% or less from the field, something like that.
Yeah.
They were like 0-65.
And this was the one, and Dalton Connect had a bad game. Made a shot when it counted, so that's good.
Made his free throws at the end. That was big.
Yep. So it's
JMU also won a game.
JMU won a game. We beat Wisconsin. That was fun. I'm not sounding as excited as I probably should be because of everything that's happened since that time. Everything's gone way downhill for JMU since the end of that game.
The last 24 hours have been tough.
They've been tough. I had a blast in New York. I went to the game at the Barclays Center. I was very drunk from the wedding. I was somewhere between 7 and 10 cocktails deep from dinner. And rolled up to the game, was very excited, got into a verbal altercation with the gentleman that was sitting behind me. We hashed things out, became friends, actually.
All-time clip.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was going to be like that crazy. Like when Max was filming, I was just pissed off at the guy because he had already started to yell at us from the second we got into the arena. Every time like JMU would make a basket, we'd clap. We'd be like, yes, nice. And he'd be like, shut up. I was at my wit's end with this guy. And then it was like a big three or it was a dunk, and I stood up and I started to celebrate. And then he ran his mouth again, and I don't know what came over me. I was just like, this guy needs to shut the fuck up.
The way you said it, too, like, I don't know if it was the emphasis you were placing on it was perfect. Shut the fuck up. It was great.
And then he shut the fuck up.
That's good.
Yeah. And then, so after I yelled at him, there was like a moment where we looked at each other, and I could tell he didn't want that smoke. Really, he kind of like he broke off eye contact with me. So I was like, okay, all right, this guy doesn't want me to go ham on him. And then I was like, wait, PFT, what are you doing? Like, this is getting a little too ridiculous. We're here to watch a game. So I told him, I was like, hey, listen, man, I don't know what your deal is, but we're just clapping for our team. We support our team just like you're going to clap when Wisconsin makes a basket. You're only mad at us because we're beating you. And that's where this is all coming from. And he was like, you didn't even go to JMU. I was like, what? I didn't? And so he thought I was just there in a tux sitting down in the Wisconsin section to troll them or something.
Were you in the Wisconsin section? Because that makes a difference.
Well, there were way more Wisconsin fans around us. I don't know how it's broken down into, like, do you want us in the JMU section?
Were you like behind the Wisconsin bench?
Not really. So it was definitely a majority Wisconsin fans around me, but I didn't buy the tickets. Somebody else bought the tickets.
Okay.
And I could understand why he's upset, but he's upset because I'm just cheering for my team that's beating his team. It's a classic sports conundrum.
Do you think he knew who you were, or was he an old guy?
No, he was a little bit older. So he didn't, and he didn't think that I went to JMU at first because I was wearing a tux and I wasn't wearing like JMU attire. But I literally got into I left dinner at the wedding in the middle. It was like right after the chicken course had been served. I got into a cab, went straight to the arena, and that's why I was wearing the tux. I didn't have time to change. I didn't have a place to put a change of clothes. So I went straight there, and he didn't think I went to JMU. He told me that. And I was like, yeah, dude, I went there. I graduated 2007. And then he was like, okay, all right, fine. I could see him like starting to back down from being such a dick. And then I was also backing down from being an asshole. So I told him, I was like, listen, no matter what happens, we can both agree. I hope the winner of this game beats the fuck out of Duke in the next round. And he was like, yep, okay, fine. And then he like dapped me up. And then I think after Max posted the video of it, and I didn't think it was going to be like a massive video. I just thought like, wait, here's a fun interaction that I had with the guy behind me. Somebody let him know that like he was, are you sitting behind this guy? And he was like, you guys do Barstool? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I think I know. I think I've seen clips of like Big Cat. He's a Wisconsin guy, right? I was like, yeah. And he goes, does he know that you're at this game? Somebody should let him know. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows. I'm pretty sure Big Cat's well aware. You want me to call him? But it was a fun time. We had a great time at the game. JMU was unstoppable. Tenacious defense. Making big shots. Getting all the steals, all the turnovers.
Wire to wire, led the whole game.
Wire to wire. I was so happy. Russillo was there having a great time. And then everything went to shit after that.
Listen, I don't want to tell you how to feel, but as a 12 seed, you got a win in the tournament, and then you played Duke, and it is what it. You will always have that win.
Yeah, You're
it's
right.
not like you didn't expect JMU to win the national title.
I did bet on JMU to win the national title after the game was over.
What was that?
Let's see. It was like 15 plus 15,000.
Oh, it's
great value. Are you saying
it should have been
bad?
more?
But did you see how good we played against Wisconsin?
Yeah, no, that I genuinely thought they were going to beat Duke. I was shocked at that result. But you got to win.
I thought that there was a chance that we could beat Duke for sure. But I'm also an idiot. Yeah, plus 15,000.
I had JMU money line yesterday.
So did I. I appreciate the faith, Big T, but it was not close. There was no moment, at no point in that game did I feel like anything good was happening.
That's better though.
Yeah.
Just would you rather lose like that or on a buzzer beater?
Like, would I rather be JMU or Texas A&M?
Correct.
I would rather be JMU.
Absolutely.
I'd rather be JMU. And also, I did Big Cat a favor by JMU beating Wisconsin in the first round because he would much rather that loss than he would rather that happen than make it to the second round and then lose to Duke.
Right.
So,
and now your coach is an enemy.
Tough day yesterday. But I'm fine. Like you said, it's all positive. We won a tournament game. We beat Wisconsin. It was an awesome time.
Only 32 teams did that.
That's right. And then our coach gets hired by Vanderbilt today.
Enemy of the state.
Not even a real school.
Facts.
Disgusting gym. The worst gym.
So I agree and disagree with you.
Does he know what the gym looks like?
I'm sure he does. It's unique.
He's going to walk in there and he's going to have instant buyer's remorse.
It does suck. But it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Like, you've never been there?
I've never been in.
So it's straight out of the 60s. Like everything in it, like the wooden bleachers, everything has not been updated since whenever it was built. But it's unique. Obviously, there's nothing else like it. It's interesting. It's a fun place to watch a game.
I don't like how it looks on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different than anything else you're going to see.
He's going to walk in. It's going to be like you bought a house and you walk inside and you get in there and you're like, oh, this is some bad carpet.
I will say the one thing, it should be a rule that the benches have to be on the sidelines.
Yes.
That is the one thing I hate. That's ridiculous.
The benches behind the baskets.
Yeah, they're on the baseline. It's terrible.
That's going to be a whole new system for him to learn there.
Yeah. I think Vandy had a coach, it may have been Kevin Stallings, I don't remember who it was, but who would stomp plays when they were on the other end of the court.
That rocks until you get the other coach stomping out plays too and really muddying the waters.
I think that's accurate. I'll look into that, but
yeah, if I was another coach, I would just start stomping too. Fight fire with fire. That's what sucks about being a fan of a mid-major like JMU is every time we get good in a sport, we're going to lose our coach. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because obviously, like in football and in basketball, you build a program up, you have some success, you feel like you got all the momentum, and then you have to just rebuild the entire thing again. That sucks. On the other hand, if you become known as a school that gets guys to like major conference jobs, then you become the most attractive spot for an up-and-coming coach.
Which I think it certainly is right now. Definitely football, I think.
Yeah, football.
A couple others, but.
Yeah, football, basketball. It seems like, I don't know, we're an everything school. So until we reach that point, I mean, that's going to keep happening to schools like JMU until we join a major conference. And that's just kind of how it's going to work. So, not the best 24 hours, but all in all, I would say this is a very positive weekend. So don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Facts.
I just made that up right now. That's a pretty good quote, I think. Billy, the people want to know. The people want to get caught up on Will Cotter for Congress.com?
Yes.
Bill.
Will Cotter for Congress.com.
Bill Cotter.
You've been out there getting signatures. You've been canvassing.
It's grind.
You've been wearing your nice suit.
It's grind.
How many suits do you own?
I have 2 suits. That's my nice suit, and I've been getting my money's worth out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, learning a lot about the political system from a very like grassroots point of view. These local elections get tricky. Getting signatures. I've been going door to door. I probably visited at least 100 doors this weekend in multiple supermarkets. So it's a lot of work campaigning. I mean, not that I didn't expect it to be, but it's honestly great reaching out, like seeing the people on the ground, hearing the issues they want addressed. I was so busy in doing that, trying to get the signatures. I need 1,250. I think we're up to close to 500, hopefully, maybe a little higher than that. So hopefully get there by the April 4th cutoff, or it's all done. I just hope that, whatever happens, some of the issues that I care about hopefully get raised into the conversation a little more, because, we've been dealing with a lot of stuff that we've talked about, and nothing has been done. So
at the very least, maybe you've shown some light onto some issues that need to be discussed in Congress, and maybe you will have an impact on the system that way. Like, hopefully
that's all I really want to do. I mean, honestly, like people are going to, there's certain people helping me with the campaign who are going to hate me saying this, but I don't really want to do this. Like the work sucks. Like it's not something that, but at the same time, that's sort of the reason why I keep going with it. Cause like when you wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and you're like, need to go for a run and work out, like you don't really want to do that in, the base of your heart. Like you're like, I just want to sleep in longer. Like, why do I do this? But it's just because it actually is the right thing to do, and it will help you and it will benefit the system you're trying to do. Like, that's why I keep doing it, because I know that usually the stuff I don't want to do is actually the stuff that is actually most productive for me to do.
That needs to be done.
So, I mean, a lot of people are skeptical if this is real. Yes, it's real. Yes, if you donate, it is only going to be used on the campaign. I mean, the fact that people thought that I was literally just stealing money, like, kind of pissed me off, because I'm literally out there grinding. Like legitimately, I will go to prison if any of this is misappropriated, and I'm not taking that lightly. Like the money is going to be used for the campaign 100%. I just want to, make sure that's on paper. So
give me your door-to-door pitch, because going door-to-door is tough. Whether it's canvassing, if you're a salesperson, no matter what it is, going door-to-door it's not easy. You have to overcome a giant fear of rejection every single time you approach a door. You feel uncomfortable. It's hard to initiate a conversation. So let's just do a role play here, okay?
all right.
The role play is it's March Madness weekend, and Big T's in his house in Long Island, and he's watching
Long Island,
inside Long Island, and he's watching the game, and he gets a knock at the door. So Big T, you're a homeowner. It's 10 minutes left in the second half. Texas against Tennessee, okay? Go.
Do I wouldn't answer the door. Do I have to answer?
Oh, no, that's a good role play. So Big T doesn't answer. What do you do?
Okay. I wait. Maybe glance in a window, see if it's a nice old lady walking to the door. And
you want it to be an old lady?
Oh no. I mean,
are you
there's
targeting
tons, like
old women?
Honestly, that is a demographic that I am excelling in. So let's just put that there. But basically, I knocked on a lot of doors, and if I wasn't getting an answer, I usually wait about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on if I saw lights on. Then I'd walk away and go to the next door. Usually, I'm with a great team that has a lot of great data points, so we know the addresses of the right people who would most likely support and give a signature.
Okay.
I need to get.
Let's do different role play then. Since you're excelling in the female demographic, Mad Dog, pretend that you are 55?
Okay.
Is that in your demo, Billy?
Do you want me to go 70?
I've been.
I'd like to
all
see
types
how
of
he
demos.
relates to younger women.
That's not his demo.
Well,
Big
we
T.
know, but we know he can hit his demo. He just told us. I want to see how he does with maybe something that's not in his wheelhouse.
Well, I think he's done that on the show a few times.
Yeah.
We've been grilling him. I want to see how he relates, because he said he does really well with the older demo.
Okay.
Mad Dog is 60?
Okay, we can cap it at 60. Wait, okay, yeah. Do you want me to answer the door?
Yeah, I'm knocking right now.
Hello?
Hi there. Do you happen to be a registered Republican by chance?
Wait, time out. PFT, do you want me to be a registered Republican?
You are. That's how I got your address.
Oh, okay. Yes, I am. And may I ask who you are?
Hi there. I'm Bill Cotter, and in order to get onto the Republican primary ballot, I need to collect enough signatures so that I can qualify. Would you mind signing for me and putting your address if you'd like?
See, I only registered as a Republican because my late husband wanted more votes for Trump back in 2020.
So it sounds like she's alone, Billy. I think she's coming on to you.
But I can I hear
Is your
what you would like?
husband home? I'd love to get his signature as well.
My
He's dead,
husband
Billy.
What?
My husband died of a heart attack about 2 years ago, actually.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'm hoping that maybe if you'd help, I'd help continue some of the ideas that he'd want put into the house.
Okay, sweetheart.
Why does this Southern woman live in Long Island?
Sorry.
Wait, time out.
Wait.
I'm going time out.
Okay.
I'm going time out.
Okay.
Billy,
Long Island accent.
Sorry.
Billy, a little bit of coaching, okay? A little bit of coaching.
Uh-huh.
Let's be coachable right now.
I'm being coachable.
She said her husband died of a heart attack. You got to be like, well, I'm running for Congress because I want to help America. And it sounds like your husband, like a lot of other people, was so frustrated and stressed out with the direction of this country under
That he
Sleepy
died.
Joe that he gave him a heart attack. And under my policies, your husband would still be alive.
That's just okay. That's so terrible, dude. We're literally, I'm trying, like, come on, we're inspiring. Like, honestly, the greatest thing with being with the people, and people got excited that someone so young is trying to run for Congress. And honestly, I think I'm inspiring a little bit of hope into people, and that's probably been the most redeeming thing out of this whole thing. So if I've like been meeting a lot of, let's say there is a widow that I'm talking to, I ask her what her problems are, what issues she raises. A lot of it has to do with Medicaid rising.
Wait, but we're not doing role
price.
play now.
Oh yeah. Time in. Okay, so
okay, wait. Also, I'll tap into a Long Island.
So Billy, ask her what issues.
Yeah,
do the issues thing.
Oh God, how do I do Long Island?
Long
Island. Mm-hmm. Okay. No.
That was more Southern.
Come on, Mad Dog. I've heard you do a Long Island accent.
I know. Hold on. It's scary.
Just morph into it with Jersey.
Long Island.
Long Island. Okay. Is that The Sopranos?
That's Jersey, but
okay.
It's close enough.
Same.
Okay, honey.
This is ridiculous.
Mackenzie, can you do Long Island?
I actually don't think I can.
What are your policies? Is that better?
That's good.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Honestly, like many in this country, I'm fed up with a lot of the excess spending that's occurring in Congress, and that's putting our new generation in debt. One thing that New York's 3rd District does is that we've been paying 3 times the amount in taxes than we actually get back from Congress and federal funding.
Okay,
what I want to do is ensure that we raise that number, and I'm one of the greatest representatives in bringing money back to the district that pays so much in taxes.
Okay, can I say something to you, honey? My husband and
Yes.
I don't really pay our taxes.
One issue is I want to also raise the minimum deductible on the SALT tax so that
What's
you can
the
take
SALT
home
tax,
more.
honey?
It's for people who pay a lot in state taxes. They get discounts on their federal taxes because they pay so much already.
Do I have
So
that?
I want to raise that. It's currently only $10,000. I want to double that at least to ensure that us New Yorkers don't overpay our fair share into federal taxes.
Honey, do you know about gematria?
Excuse me? I'd love to learn more.
Gematria is this language that each number and letter correspond, and they create a code. And what's your name, sweetheart? Will Cotter?
Bill Cotter.
Okay, so if I just put it in my gematria calculator, your number adds up to 88, and so does Donald Trump's. And so I would like to look forward to having you on my ballot, sir.
Hey, well, I'd love to get your signature. If you just put your signature right here and then print your name right underneath.
Okay.
And you're a registered Republican, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you know my friend Stu?
Stu Feiner, yes, he's a good friend of mine. I was actually at his house on Friday.
Okay.
He also signed.
Also, I have one more question for you, sweetheart, before I sign.
Yes, miss.
I am 2 generations back Palestinian, and I would like to know what your policies are towards the Middle East.
Look, I mean,
my grandfather is from Gaza.
Look, I mean, we have a lot of issues occurring outside of this country, and I think we need to start worrying a little more about some of those issues flowing into this country. So that's why I'm going to be tough on the border. If you've seen, there's been an uptick in crime in New York State and the surrounding areas since COVID, and we just got to make sure that we actually deal with the issues in our country. Not to say that those aren't important to me. I feel for the people of Gaza and as well as the people of Israel. They've both been through some major tragedies, and we just need to ensure that we make the right decisions on the home front.
I don't know if you answered my question there, sweetheart.
It was a good dodge. I'll give that to Billy. That was a good dodge. Is crime up in Long Island?
Yeah, is crime? Yeah, sweetheart. Someone keyed my name.
Okay, I would have gotten the signature already, guys. Come on. I would have been in and out.
I really turned on my accent.
Yeah, it was good.
That was really good.
I love young people trying to make a difference. Here's your signature, and then I would have been out, and then I would be on the next.
See, I wouldn't have given you if my character.
Usually, they just want you to leave, so if they get the signature.
That is so true.
Yeah.
So and at the supermarket, come on, I've been going door to door pitching. I've been working harder than I probably ever have in my life, just from I slept 10 hours last night. I went to bed at 9:30 and I woke up at 7:30. I don't know if that's 10 hours, but
well, it is. But how is sleeping more than normal indicative of working really hard?
Because I've
been campaigning every day since Thursday. It's a lot of work and there's a lot of ground to be covered. Got to get those signatures to hopefully get on the ballot. I just got a text right now saying, uh, you know, uh, if you definitely got to get more than double the amount of signatures because anyone who has a bad signature will be removed. This is an insider who this is like
Well, that's what
another.
Dave told you, right?
Right. I'm aiming for 5,000. So that's what we're trying to
What's
do. I'm taking a break today. I'm honestly probably going to end up going out there again this evening because it's better to collect signatures from 4 to 9 p.m. And hopefully we can get out there. It's a lot of work. And trust me, all the donations are going towards trying to get these signatures so we can actually have a campaign that you can say that you contribute to. So that's what's happening right now. You know, hopefully a lot of people are asking for merch. You know, if we get there, we'll start to make it. There is an event this Thursday at Borelli's in East Meadow. That if you're a registered Republican, please come. It's going to be there's going to be pizza, there's going to be food. It's free to attend, and Stu Feiner will be attending, and it's going to be a campaign launch uh, sort of event, and hopefully we can get some signatures there. And then I'll be riding the Long Island Railroad from Grand Central out into the district to hear from a lot of the commuters who usually don't have time to voice their problems and opinions on what's going on in this country. But hopefully, I'll be there to hear from you guys exactly what you want. The exact train, it's probably gonna be the 5 o'clock train to East Meadow.
I've got an idea, Billy.
Yep.
As like a stunt, why don't you? Because improving the infrastructure and the Long Island Transit is a major key platform issue for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just ride the Long Island train nonstop for like 2 days in a row? Just constantly getting signatures. Like you're not leaving you're not leaving that train until you get the signatures.
And that's going to be yeah, so we're going to try to go for the Huntington bound train from Grand Central. It's going to be, we got to make sure that might not be the most effective way to get signatures because a lot of people taking the trains don't live in the district. I'm actually been one of these days, I'm going to probably hit during rush hour the train stations to make sure I'm getting commuters in that district because I mean, we pay like it's the numbers show that 3 times the money leaves the district to the federal government and we only get a third of it back in our infrastructure and the stuff. Yes, the LIR is subsidized by the federal government currently, but there could be a lot more being done to ensure that it's being given the credence of the hardworking people of New York's District 3.
Wait, don't a lot of people that ride that train, they do live in that district though, right?
Right, but if you can imagine it, more people riding that train live farther out than New York District 3. They like are going
Okay.
so it would be effective. It would be a great awareness stunt, but it wouldn't be like I need to get these signatures or it's as some people have been advising me, it's get the signatures or die because the campaign is going to die unless we get these signatures. So I need to use my time effectively and hopefully we get on the ballot and we can really make a difference.
Have you knocked on any doors or seen anybody that recognized you and it's like, oh shit, that's Billy Football, and they didn't know that you were running for Congress? Because that would be such a funny thing.
Yes.
Like, Billy, what are you doing at my house?
No, it was honestly, it's at the supermarket that happened, door knocking on Sunday. Most people I've been talking to a lot of people and hearing their opinions and they've been voicing their concerns face value. And, it's honestly, I've kind of really felt the gears in my brain shift because I feel like I'm really, doing something for a higher purpose. And honestly, it's motivated me more than anything else in life.
For the good of the country.
Like honestly, and there's a reason why a lot of politicians aren't considered good people. And I'm dealing with what gets a lot of people cut out of the race, like why we're not getting better politicians in the government, because there are a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. I'm seeing it firsthand, and maybe when this is all over, I can divulge it. But it is, there's a lot of good meaning Americans who get cut out of the political system because they're just that good meaning Americans.
Like George Santos.
No. But yeah. So check out my website, billcotterforcongress.com. It has it should, by the time this is up, I know I said this last time, but now it should actually be up. BillCotterForCongress.com. And I have a blog, if it's not up, on the Barstool website that you can check out. It's on my Twitter. It's pinned. So it has all my viewpoints, but hopefully we can, make a little change. I mean, I'm the youngest person running for Congress right now, I think, in America, from my research. And hopefully we can get something going.
What about that guy
mean,
that's?
I believe there's someone running in your district that might be younger than you.
Well, then he couldn't vote. I mean, then he couldn't be valid. I'm literally 25.
You're the youngest possible.
What year did you graduate college?
You can't collect signatures unless you're 25. So unless
Oh, this guy graduated in 2020, so he might be a little older.
He's out of touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not, I mean,
Probably
he's
doesn't
got
even
some.
use TikTok.
What's that, Billy?
but yeah.
He's got some what?
It's got a nice looking
moving
website,
on.
though. It's got information on it.
Yeah, I know. Look, and also I know the optics on that. Basically, all of this, I can only put so much of my funds into the campaign, like from a living life standpoint. So, the website, where you need to build a website, it takes funds. Sometimes you can only afford to put up the donation link first before building the rest of it. Because think about it, what's probably the most expensive and what's going to help. So that's why I'm not literally trying to shill people's money and like create this whole thing. I'm literally trying to do the right thing.
Billy,
I'm probably one of the only people who has the ability to do this at such a young age. So I should take advantage of that.
Billy, I did get a text from an established, a high level Democratic operative when you did your video. If you're a registered Republican in New York's District 3, got a text from this person. They said, "What's this guy's deal?" So they're worried. You got the libs running scared.
There's some weird stuff going on that I don't want to divulge, but a lot of stuff has changed. There's a lot of weird, mail messages I'm receiving. It gets real, and it probably scares off a lot of well-meaning people into entering politics, because as soon as this has started, it's gotten weird. It's gotten weird, and I'm honestly going to take it on because I can, and I have this platform to actually talk about it if something does bad happen. But,
Billy's thankful that someone of his caliber of strength is the one receiving this and not someone else.
Not a weak.
Look, I'm someone who's dealt with a lot of vitriol.
It's true.
Through the internet. I got thick skin. I'm able to take this stuff. A lot of well-meaning people don't, and they're probably it's not worth it. Screw it. I'm in it for the thick of it. I mean, the reason why golden retrievers don't win dog fights is not because they're, not worthy of being a winner. It's because they get scared off a lot, and sometimes you need a pit bull in there. So I'm willing to get in the arena and do something good. I'm a well-meaning pit bull.
Pit Bill. Yeah. So you got the libs scared of you. I've also, behind the scenes, I've helped to connect Billy with other people that I hope have given you good advice.
Yes.
So I don't know what I want to happen to Bill's campaign. I want Billy to be fulfilled and successful in some way, but I do need to know more about your policies before I can decide whether or not to officially endorse you.
Well, did you read the blog? I'm not asking for anyone's endorsement. I'm honestly not I've been able to secure some donations, but I'm not going to, unless I get on that ballot and I'm able to really run, I'm not going to be taking any money. A lot of people, when they don't get the signatures, they still fundraise. If I don't get the signatures, I'm done. Cause that just is trying to stockpile. We're going to do this the right way. And trust me, I'm under a huge microscope with all of this. So I'm going to we're not doing anything out of the, look, honestly, I want to show my best self. I've grown up in front of the Barstool audience. They've sometimes seen my worst self. I really want to start, I want you guys to see, the real me, Bill Cotter, that's well-meaning and trying to do the right thing. And I want to show you my best self because you guys deserve it.
Okay. I'm reading your blog right now. I know what you were thinking. Why the heck do you think you can serve in Congress? Well, that's one of the problems I believe this country needs to fix. We stopped believing in ourselves. We got to the moon. Why shouldn't every American have the attitude that we can reach for the stars? When did that stop? When did we start to tolerate mediocrity? I am running for New York's 3rd District to raise awareness in Congress, at least of issues that affect not only young Americans in New York 3rd, but all Americans across the country. And then a video, the wind video, and then he said, sorry about the wind. And then Billy says, everyone likes grassroots campaigning until the audio is bad. That's a great point. That's a fantastic point. Below, you'll find my broad policy points. I think they prefer to be called women. Bring federal funds back to New York District 3rd. Stop inflation. Fund the police. Crime is out of control, and the geniuses of the Democratic Party think the solution is cutting funds to our police. Fund the police. Secure the border. Require voter ID. What are your voter ID requirements?
Just check the next sentence.
What's more important for a country, being allowed to buy beer or being allowed to vote? I would say being allowed to buy beer.
I'm just saying.
More people buy beer than vote.
I was going to ask, what do you think?
Way more people buy beer than vote.
I think, honestly, if you check that, I think the amount of beer drinkers
I bet it's
is
pretty close, honestly.
Let's look it up.
So there were like 160 million people, I think, who voted in the last presidential election. It might be a little less than that.
How many people would you guess buy beer every year?
Well,
I think it's going to be really close.
No, because, for example, there's probably, 20% of the population that, does all the beer drinking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm seeing a lot of beer consumption by company, but I need to know how many people buy beer. I think I'm going to guess that 70%, 65% of people over the age of 20 buy beer once a year.
Wait, say that again?
70% of people over the age.
Not even close.
You don't think so?
So
It's 37% of drinking Americans.
Right, and I'm finding 60% of Americans drink at all. So what's 37% of 60%?
Wait,
Around
like 25?
37% of drinkers buy beer every year?
That's just drink beer.
No, that can't be right.
That's what
No,
it says.
37% of drinking Americans consume beer, 29% wine, and 31% liquor.
That might be as their favorite.
Right, but that just makes them a beer drinker.
Okay, but this says, so 62% of Americans report that they drink, which is, what's the population right now, like 350?
Yeah, we'll call it 350 million.
Times 0.62. So that's 217 million people. And I'd venture certainly not more than, half of those people buy beer.
At least once a year, buy one beer a year. I'm not talking about exclusively
I bet
buy
there
beer.
are people who drink beer that don't buy it.
Yeah.
Just freeloaders?
Yeah, or you
don't have that friend.
Don't like beer, but if
Liners.
someone else is drinking beer, they'll drink one. So, what was I right? 160 million voters.
Yeah.
About half the country votes, I think. Billy might be right.
Yeah.
Why can't I find how
just
many
saying.
people voted in the? Well, I know the answer to that.
And I wish, a lot of the reasoning behind voter ID stuff is kind of implying the same things that they're saying they're against. We can get into it another time, but we need to figure out a better voting system. Maybe is it just some sort of free identification that goes out when people become voting age. I think that's fair.
So I bet it's more voters than people who buy beer.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely more because beer drinking has gone down. There's more liquor drinkers and wine drinkers. Think about it. Seltzers have totally taken away beer drinkers, totally undercut.
Okay, now you're right about this, and it's going to sound like I'm moving the goalpost, but I think I'm allowed to move the goalpost on this because you're saying what's more important, voting or buying beer. You still need to use that same ID to buy wine or liquor, So
you did say beer, but I will allow the change.
So maybe a more fair comparison would be
alcohol.
Alcohol. He did say beer, but I don't think that you had to say beer.
I'm just saying if if we require that element of identification to buy beer, something that was supposed to be an amendment made to legalize alcohol again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there needs to be some sort of identification.
Okay, so for voter ID, you do have to show voter ID to register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like saying you have to show ID to buy the beer, but you don't have to show the ID every time you have to drink a beer.
We can argue this, but honestly, taking a social security number to vote, I think, is the bare minimum.
Okay.
Like there needs to be.
Okay, that's fair. Bring back jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Expand on that.
Sorry, Stu Finer's texting me. Stu Finer's just been hyping me up, and it's inspirational.
He's a great campaign manager.
Yeah.
Have you told any of the older women that you're visiting about the 50-50-30 platform?
15, 15,
30. 15, 15, 30.
Sounds like you have.
Yeah. But yeah, Stu, we're just trying to get signatures. The reason why I haven't been sharing as much policy points this whole time, like that one video I shot with the bad wind, like I've been running around trying to get signatures. Signatures is the most important thing right now, because without them, the policies will never see the light of day in a primary. So that's what we've been concentrating on. We're getting up there. Hopefully we can hit it. We're going to need 5,000 signatures to get on this ballot, even though there's only 1,250. Because, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of entrenched institutions that don't exactly want an outsider to, ruin their cocktail party. And that's what we're kind of going up against. And hopefully we can get it going and get on the ballot, because then from there, we're about to shake some stuff up.
Okay. So Billy, your last policy point, support the Second Amendment. What part of shall not be infringed is so hard to understand? I'm worried that there's a lot of lib do-gooders out there that are trying to institute red flag laws and policies for people who are severely mentally deranged to not be able to buy a weapon. And I'm afraid that those people will have their rights infringed. Can you just assure me that anyone, anywhere, will be able to buy a gun because the Second Amendment is very clear and says shall not be infringed?
Can you please reference another policy point? I think it's either a little farther up about the mental health crisis in America.
Okay. From the highest rates of anxiety and depression in young people ever recorded to the opioid crisis and suicide rates, America needs a renewed focus on mental health. We do this by both addressing the causes driving mental health issues and improving access to mental health care.
I think this also falls in line with keeping Big Pharma accountable. Honestly, if you see a lot of the mental health initiatives and stuff, we have a mental health problem in America, and it is the root cause of a lot of the other issues, in that treating those issues is just treating the symptoms as opposed to treating the actual problem that's causing those symptoms, which is a mental health crisis. So, I mean, it's amongst all age groups, all demographics. I think it's like the highest ever for young women. If we start dealing with those problems and like dealing with mental health, having better resources, having better solutions, honestly, like, hypothetically, if we were to, legalize some therapies more widespread, we'd be able to solve a lot of these problems. Like, for example, in the opioid crisis, Ibogaine is illegal in the United States, but is legal everywhere else in the world. And it is a compound that's been shown to show serious results when dealing with opioid addicts and dealing with the neural pathways of addiction. If we're able to get people off opioids and help them be better members of society, again, not that there's anything wrong, like, addiction is a disease, but like be able to be a better functioning member of society, that's huge. Why are we not trying to do that? Why are we taking these huge steps to demonize the addict and not try to help them? In every community across the United States, we have opioid addiction. It is perpetrated the entire country to its core, to its roots. If we do not take serious action at the border with therapies, with creative solutions that have worked, as opposed to causing more red tape in order to demonize these individuals, we're going to have zero progress. All the progress made in the war against the opioid crisis has seriously dropped back to, levels because of the pandemic. It has gotten way worse. I remember studying it in college and it had hit its peak, but they were making progress. All that progress had gone away after the pandemic, and we need to restart focusing on it, because if we don't, it's going to get worse and worse. And we just have more and more proliferation of fentanyl through our southern border. And guess what? The cartel controls everybody who goes in and out of the United States. On the southern side of the border, it's coyotes who work for the cartel. And guess what a lot of these people's ticket into the country is in order to pay back the cartels for helping them get through the tough terrains and getting across the border? It is carrying stuff on them to get across the border. That is their ticket, because that pays for their trip. And a lot of that ends up being fentanyl. So we need to take serious action to ensure that we, figure out what's going on and stop the flow of, drugs and unvetted individuals into this country, because we don't know what's coming over. And I want way more immigrants in this country. I think once we secure the southern border, we should make it easier to become a legal immigrant in this country. I think we have the technological advances to do the right vetting process on all these individuals. So once we secure that, we can open the floodgates in other ways, so we can get way more people in, because we need more workers in certain aspects of our economy that will allow, greater economic growth in our country, so we can help pay back some of the debt payments on our extremely large national debt. Because if we don't, our GDP is going to be smaller than our debt payments in a couple of years, and all the people in Congress will be dead by then, and it'll leave us with the bill. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I appreciate that. My question, though, was about whether or not, if you are like institutionalized for a mental health crisis, there should be a red flag law that would prevent you from buying firearms.
If we deal with the national mental health crisis and develop programs like I was talking about, make sure that those people don't have free reign of, what they won't be able to execute their, some of the, for lack of a better term, evil ideas that have unfortunately come into their head. That is where we need to fix the problem at the root.
Right. So under your expanded mental health support, if somebody is in your system because they're dealing with mental health crisis, I just want to make sure that under your policies, they'll still be able to buy whatever firearm they want.
Well, they probably wouldn't be able to drive if they were that bad of an individual, like that bad of a mental health crisis. I mean, look, of course you want to, like, let's say, and the thing is, you're referencing a different thing, but if there's someone with serious suicidal ideation that hasn't been addressed, everyone agrees that they shouldn't be able to get their hands on a firearm.
Oh, that sounds like what part of shall not be infringed is so hard to understand?
Look,
pretty sure I said that verbatim on this show last week too, by the way. Not that it matters. No, it doesn't matter. Keep going.
It just sounded like an infringement to me.
Look, PFT, I understand you're trying to poke the holes in it, but it's important. The thing is, bad guys will always be able to get guns. We need to make sure that everyone has a fair chance if, unfortunately, that day comes where someone shows up at your door with bad intentions. And we'll help mitigate that day from happening by dealing with the mental health crisis in the United States and trying to make the economy better.
Okay.
So,
and look, I know I may be young, but the average age of a Congress representative is around 50 years old. I am 25. If elected, I will represent not only NY3, but also the new generation of Americans who are going to be left with a bill after the current congressmen retire or die. And don't get me started on the corruption. Billy's dealing with some... Billy, you have gotten a nice look behind the scenes.
If anything, I'm learning more firsthand about this whole process and how it works. And hopefully one day I'll be able to sort of unveil what's done in the dark and bring it to the light.
I look forward to the book.
Yeah.
At the very least, you can write a book about your campaigning experiences. All right, there's something else going on right now I wanted to talk about today. So I guess Truth Social is going public. Is that today?
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Trump's trying to pay back his, not his restitution, but the
bond.
The bond. It got reduced to $175 million. So he says he'll be able to pay it in cash. He actually had a pretty baller response when they're like, how are you going to back how are you going to pay it back? And he goes, in cash. And that's,
It's Randy Moss.
yeah.
Straight cash.
Straight cash, homie. He should have said that.
That would be sick.
That would be great.
He
So-
doesn't. He has no idea about that quote.
You don't think so?
No.
Somebody should tell him. Straight cash, homie. Next time I might shake my dick at you. That's the other thing Randy Moss said.
I don't recall that one.
When he did the pull down, the pull down the pants celebration.
Joe Buck
Yeah,
clutched his pearls.
Like
yeah.
if he regretted doing that, and he goes, next time I might shake my dick at you.
That's funny.
It's pretty good. So I heard that he's going to get like $3 billion today because of the IPO.
That's
Well,
insane.
what is the IPO? Truth Social, I don't think has that many like usership.
So the
Unless
value,
it's all bots.
the valuation was I think $3 billion. Now he wouldn't be able to actually get that cash. I don't think for 6 months. There's a bunch of rules about when you can cash out. But I read something, and I'm not smart enough to understand how any of this works, so I might be screwing up the financial details. I'm sure somebody will correct me. I did read an analysis of the deal that was saying that the one of the people that's in charge of the investment fund that is underwriting the IPO for $3 billion is also one of the biggest investors in TikTok, like top investor in TikTok. And so somebody was speculating that Trump switched his mind on whether or not TikTok should be banned right before this guy is giving him a bunch of money for the Truth Social IPO. I don't know if that's true. That's what I read.
Isn't that decision supposed to be like this week?
They're voting on that in the House. Or did it pass the House? Wait.
It passed in the House.
It passed in the House. And now it's in the Senate.
Yep.
How a bill becomes a law.
This
look,
this
by
dude's
the way,
got it.
By the way, I'm rereading all the stuff about statesmanship right now. I want to be as sharp on these issues and these facts as I can for the, like, I'm not like, I want to be able to stand up out there on their platform and ask my opponents if they really know how the government works and be totally in the right. Be like, how's the bill become a law? Like, so we're reading up. We're reading up.
Billy is the
We're
new
getting sharp.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. How a bill becomes a congressman. Shout out Kyle Long.
I'm just Bill, and I'm sitting here in Manhasset.
There's something going on with the Department of Justice. They're filing an antitrust suit against Apple. So they're going after Apple and trying to break Apple up. This was a very funny part of their statement. One of the reasons they're going after Apple is because of the green bubbles.
I love that.
So they're saying many non-iPhone users experience social stigma, exclusion, and blame for breaking chats where other participants own iPhones. The effect is particularly powerful for certain demographics, like teenagers.
It's 100% true.
So because Apple's, the green dots show up, that's bullying, and it's creating a negative mental impact on a lot of America. So the Department of Justice is like, you got to change this to blue bubbles.
That
I agree with that because I hate the green. The green bubbles ruin everything.
an Android phone would have to be such I don't know. If an Android phone was like infinitely better than an iPhone, like if this iPhone currently was running like an iPhone like 11, like from 4 or 5 years ago, and then the current Android phones were like this now, and it was free.
No, so I
still
actually
don't
used
know
to
that
be an
I'd take
Android
it.
person. I used to be an Android
Thank you, Billy.
person.
Take it away.
No, but have you ever had an Android?
No, of course not.
Well, I've had an Android. I honestly, until I switched when PFT, I accidentally tweeted out PFT's number
And my penis.
and your thumb. Let's just get that. No, but like, let's really get this out on the table. It was not your penis. It was your thumb.
It was from across the room, and it was very pixelated, but there was something flesh colored there.
It was your thumb because it's next to your hand in the photo. It's literally like this. And
Well, when you're pissing, your dick's usually pretty close to your hand.
Yeah, actually, it was in my hand.
In it,
at
a
the
lot of
time.
times, yeah.
it was right. It was in your hand, not out of your hand. So, moving on.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was using an Android, and at the time I could buy parts and upgrade my phone instead of having to buy a whole new phone. If I cracked my screen, I could fix it myself.
Mhm.
It was also like durable. I had the Samsung S5 Sport or S5, and basically it was like a tank. The screen would never crack, and when it did, when I accidentally dropped a dresser on it while I was moving stuff at work in my old construction job, it broke. And then I fixed it within like the day because I Amazon Primed a new thing, and it was great. And the only bad part was people complaining about getting my green text, but I was just like, I don't care about you guys. Like, this thing's fast. The camera was better. It was crazy how much they used to hijack Android users because my Snapchat camera would be perfect on my side, but then I would go look at it other people's phone, and they were literally nerfing it on purpose.
And you know all I could think about when he was talking about how great that phone was? This guy sounds like a fucking loser.
Yeah,
I'll never have one.
People who have Androids, they love their Androids.
It's their entire personality.
No,
this camera is so much better than what you have. You wouldn't believe this camera.
It's modular.
Yeah.
I can fix things. I can buy new parts for it. But
it honestly had greater utility. I wouldn't make a big deal about it unless I was asked about it.
If I got the exact same text from two people, one was blue, one was green, I would inherently think less of the person who sent it in green.
Which one would you respond to faster?
I don't respond to green text. Or more accurate, they're still gray when you receive them. I don't send green text.
You don't send green text. Yeah.
But what's crazy is that the iPhone was originally green text.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
way
about
back in the
that.
day, green text was the OG.
Yeah, until it was like the iPhone 5.
Yeah. Then they brought in the blue, which was iMessage, which was just a way to jack your data
So,
to make more money.
Mad Dog McKenzie, do you bully your friends who send Android messages?
I don't have any friends who have
Yeah,
Androids.
I actually haven't in so long.
Like,
But think about
none.
this. If you get a guy's number and they text you and it's green text, is it just an auto no?
Is that the ick?
A little bit, but it would depend on the circumstances.
I think it would, if I was talking to a guy and it was green text, I don't know if I could handle that.
All right, Harry Styles hits you up.
Okay, it's fine.
Again, circumstances.
If Harry Styles hit me up with the carrier pigeon, we can make it work. Like there's not a lot of things that he could do wrong.
That'd be romantic, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
It's a
Yeah.
bird that delivers you little scrolls.
Love letters?
He would totally do that too.
He would.
Like,
Oh,
that's him.
God, love him.
Okay, I regret asking.
But yeah, no. I like if I was like on a dating app, like on Hinge, matched with a guy, and he was like, "Oh, here's my phone number," and then we started talking, and then I get a green text message.
It's gross.
It'd be weird.
Because
It'd
it
be
also
weird.
it says something about you. Like, as much as you don't think it does, it just says something about who you are.
Yeah.
That's a
agree.
little crazy. I'm willing to admit that my prejudgment of people with green text is I am judging you.
Yeah.
Madeline's like it says
actually
something
about
about
you, yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm judging you.
What
Wait,
does it
what's
say?
the difference?
But what does it say?
Well, you're putting it on the other person. I'm willing to admit that it's my own bias.
Big T just doesn't like. It
okay.
looks weird.
No, like just sometimes like fit in. Just get the freaking iPhone. Just like be like everyone else.
This is actually great testimony that the DOJ could use. Like,
Am I
this is what
getting
I'm
in
talking
trouble
about.
for saying all this?
No,
Oh.
no,
It's just
not at all.
annoying. Just don't do it.
Just don't get an Android.
Oh my god. Or unless. Oh my god. But like, there's also this not craze. That's a bit of an aggressive word. There is a slight trend of people being like, I need to go back to my roots, and they get flip phones again.
Mm-hmm.
So then they don't have any internet on their phone. They literally can just text and call.
I wish I could do that.
I mean, you could.
No, I couldn't. I physically can't. I wish I could.
Because of work.
Yeah. There's
Well,
no,
no,
going back.
not even that. Like, I wouldn't survive.
GPS.
No, just like
that-
I TikTok,
Everything.
Twitter, I'm on it. Like, and I don't want to be, but
Yeah.
I am.
No, it's a severe addiction that I have. Severe.
I think that's what I'm gonna do when I retire. That's when I'm officially
Get a
done.
flip phone?
Get a flip phone.
Once we get a green text.
Yeah, well, no. Like, PFT doesn't even have to tell us he's retiring. Just one day, like, the group chat was going to turn green, and we're going to be like,
No, he's done.
it's a
He's
good
done.
run.
He's done. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Billy, what else we got on the sheet today?
This one's actually probably the most important one on one of the most important stories we've ever talked about, and people don't realize the implications. But there was a terrorist attack in Moscow,
Mm-hmm.
and basically they're saying it was ISIS, and ISIS has claimed responsibility for it, quote unquote. Four Tajiki nationals who had entered Russia legally or illegally, basically killed 140 people in Moscow. The thing is, have any of you guys played Call of Duty and know specifically the mission No Russian, which is basically about a staged terrorist attack to pin on America in order to justify military action by Russia?
Well, so going back in time a little bit, Putin has done something like this before. The bombings, the apartment bombings that they had like 25 years ago,
Yeah.
they were an inside job that he pinned on the Chechens, and then he used those as a pretense to crack down on them and invade Chechnya. So Putin has done stuff like that before. But no, I have not played that Call of Duty level.
It's the only relative, but it's basically a staged terrorist attack in order to, it's called No Russian because they don't speak Russian because they want people to think they're American. And basically they shoot up a whole place and kill a bunch of civilians. But that basically happened, and they're pinning it on ISIS. But here's the plausible deniability. ISIS has always, for good reason, people think America created ISIS by basically leaving Iraq early and causing a lot of Al Qaeda to then find new allegiance in the Al Ghurab. Was it the Al Ghurab prison? But basically, they created ISIS. So ISIS is like they're basically saying that the U.S. conducted this terrorist attack under the proxy of ISIS, and Putin has just said, "Why does ISIS only attack the enemies of America?" So these Tajikis that they've caught, right?
Well,
usually ISIS fighters kill themselves.
Yeah, ISIS attacked America too.
Right. So Putin's spinning this and trying to pin it on Kiev in Ukraine, and to take, like, who knows what type of military action he'll take in response to 140 people getting shot and then blown up in this concert hall. This is like world war level stuff because he's directly trying to blame America for it. When, like, these guys were paid and indoctrinated on Telegram, which is a notorious Russian misinformation place, and they're basically saying that ISIS is controlled by the CIA and the CIA did this attack, where, the U.S. would never do something like this to civilians.
So
like
the U.S. actually, we warned Putin, like a week ago?
Yeah.
We told Russia, heads up, terrorist attack imminent. You might want to look into it. And then at the time, Putin said, this is a classic misinformation thing that the United States is doing. And because, like, it's something that Putin would do to another country. Like, Putin would feed misinformation about a terrorist attack. So he assumed the U.S. was lying about it to make the Russian people think that Putin didn't have, like, an ironclad grip on security inside Moscow. And so he thought it was a lie. We put out a statement, too, this is like a few days before the attack happened, on our own embassy's website, being like, stay away from places like concerts because there's a terrorist attack imminent. Don't go there.
The scariest thing, I don't mean to make this about me, but that was the exact type of message that Donnie and I got in Uganda from the U.S. Embassy.
Oh, stay away from this concert?
Yeah. So I'm like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
And I was getting a lot of shit at the time for being like, yo, dude, what the fuck? But, like, it's like U.S. intelligence is some of the best in the world.
Okay, so you're thinking that Putin is blaming U.S. intelligence, and then or Ukrainian intelligence, and then they're going to use that as a pretext to launch a nuke into Ukraine?
Not a nuke. Well, hopefully not. Like, pray to God, but, like, hopefully not taking serious military action further to what they've already had, or, like, make some serious. Hell, they might even use it to end up invading Tajikistan and those Central Asian states.
Yeah, the footage was very tough to watch.
And there was a lot of it.
There was tons of it. Like, everybody.
Which is
had
also
videos.
like there's a lot of documentation of this footage getting spread all across the internet, playing to Putin's playing to his hand to make people feel justified in whatever he's about to command. So
It was
scary shit.
It was gross, terrifying footage. And then when they caught the guys, there's been Russian state media has also put out some videos of them catching the people and just straight up torturing them.
Did you see the ear?
Yeah, they cut the guy's ear off and they made him eat it. And
really?
And he spat it out. But they
where are y'all watching this?
It was
Twitter.
It was on Twitter. I didn't even mean to watch it. I was like, I was looking at news updates of what was happening, and then in like the replies to it, it'd be like, look, they caught this guy, and it's a dude like cutting his ear off, and there was another dude that they hooked his nuts up to like a battery, and they were electrocuting him. Fucking wild,
dude. The Russians don't play. I mean, and we don't even know if those guys actually did it. They like have this fake photo of, I don't know if it's fake or not, but of what looks like those 4 guys with their faces blurred in front of an ISIS flag. Like, we don't actually know if they did it, because ISIS fighters, as we've seen, they don't like to escape alive. They're trying to get to whatever their ideology, like they're trying to get to the next life where they're promised riches and all sorts of stuff for their jihadic actions. Like, they don't want to survive, a lot of them.
The latest theory I saw was that these guys, like, they weren't actual like true members of ISIS, but they were promised money from an ISIS cleric, and they were like paid like 50,000 rubles or something like that to carry out these attacks. And
what's so terrible is 50,000 rubles is in US dollars. From what I saw, it was like 5,000.
Yeah.
$5,000 to commit. Yeah. Oh my God, no way. 50,000 rubles, you said?
I think that's what I think that was the figure I saw.
$600. So it must have been 500,000, because so then it is $5,000 to commit such a crazy atrocity.
Yeah. I mean, so who knows what Putin's going to do, but that's some crazy stuff.
You got to pay attention to this shit, because like, it's not that I like Russia, but you need to be in tune with what's going on, because it's going to have huge global implications. Hopefully never, but
yeah, it was scary and it was sad. And people, there were also some people that are like, fuck Russia, good. No, these are just people. These are just people that live there that were going to a concert.
Yeah. What kind of concert?
I think it was a rock concert.
Yeah. So if it was staged, I mean, those are the most progressive people, like, against the establishment in the nation. Those, like, it's terrible. Condolences to what's going on over there. Taking a pivot, Kate Middleton, fake video allegations. There was a photo, the video of her releasing. Unfortunately, she said there needs to be better news.
Yeah,
let's just switch. Unfortunately, Kate Middleton has cancer.
You're the one that brought it up.
I know. I realize I need to stop. I need to get some better lighthearted news.
I do feel bad that we all were like making fun of her for weeks and she has cancer.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's the thing. It's like, obviously cancer is terrible, and I feel like as a mother that sucks for her and it sucks for her family, and it's a bad situation. At the same time, like, there was the mystery surrounding it was created by them. Mm-hmm. It's not like these theories came out of nowhere. It's that they chose to keep things private because they were like, we want to respect her health. She's going through something. But then with like the fake photoshops that came out, that makes people think like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
So I guess they just didn't want to talk about what she was actually going through. And that's kind of like, if you're going to be in the royal family, your entire life is going to be under a microscope. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of the nature of the situation.
Right.
We got to talk about Shohei.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Shohei.
Did you see he's...
Shohei the money.
That's good. He's speaking to the media today, but he's not taking questions. He's reading a prepared statement.
Oh, come on. Well, I guess he doesn't have an interpreter to
relay
the questions to him.
Yeah, who knows who's reading the statement, but I'm there's no way that the story they're putting out there is correct.
It stinks to high heaven.
Yeah.
And baseball is in such a funny position right now because he is their golden boy.
I am rooting very, very hard for him to have been the one doing the gambling for this reason. It sets up the most impossible decision any league has ever had to make, ever. Because there is a precedent that if you do this, you are banned for life.
Pete Rose was banned for life, and he didn't even admit to gambling on baseball.
He did.
Later.
Okay.
Pete Rose,
at the time he did it?
Pete Rose has been gradually increasing his admissions once every 5 years for the last 30 years. He's like, yeah, I did bet on sports, but I didn't bet on baseball. Yeah, I bet on baseball, but I never bet on my games. Yeah, I bet on some of the games that I was managing, but I only bet on my team to win.
Yeah, and it was as a manager, right? It wasn't while he was playing.
I'm sure he was betting as a player.
He probably
too.
was.
Yeah.
But I find it fascinating.
Me too. So what do you do if you're MLB? Because I think I might have a solution.
I'd like to hear.
Makes everybody happy.
I think binary, he does not get banned.
I think
he'd be suspended.
I think what baseball has to do is they have to say, we've met as a league and we've discussed it, and we're finally ready to allow Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds into the Hall of Fame and all these other guys, Roger Clemens, into the Hall of Fame, and Shohei Ohtani gets a 5-game suspension.
Well, to be fair, Pete Rose is the only guy that they're precluding from being in the Hall of Fame. The rest of the guys, the writers just don't vote for.
That's true. So, yeah, so they let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame, and then after that, they do the investigation on Shohei Ohtani, and using the league's new policy towards gambling on the sport, then Shohei will be disciplined under those new policies.
I think this is going to be a massive, massive thing.
So from what I've heard, and we're recording this before Shohei has delivered his statement, it sounds like his point of view or his side of the story is that the interpreter had been lying to him for years, and the interpreter, when he got up in front of the team and apologized and told this story about owing so much money gambling and Shohei covering his debts for him, apparently that was not the truth at all, and Shohei did not understand what the interpreter was saying to his teammates. And then only afterwards somebody told him, hey, here's what your interpreter just said. And Shohei's like, no, I never authorized any payments in my name.
Well, they've already changed the story.
Yeah, twice.
The first story was Shohei was helping out his friend who got in way too over his head, which is still illegal, by the way, and gave him the money. The second, which is probably the best case scenario, or I guess the best case scenario for Shohei is that it was stolen, best case in quotation marks. Then they changed it to, oh no, Shohei never knew anything about this. The guy stole $5 million from him.
Yeah.
Which seems relatively implausible.
Yeah, I would say so.
Also, he have that much money.
He wouldn't notice $100,000 missing. I think he'd notice $4.5 million.
Let's think about all the facts around this case. The interpreter got into $4.5 million worth of debt gambling on sports. The interpreter made anywhere between $50,000 and I think $150,000 a year in his salary. If you're a bookie, how do you allow that person to get $4.5 million worth of debt?
Very interesting.
If somebody makes $150,000, do you think that there's a bookie out there that, you know, you're down $500,000 to them, and they're like, okay, yeah, you can keep betting, you just pay me back whenever, and then it gets racked up to $4.5 million worth of debt? I don't think any bookie in the world would do that unless they knew.
Got a backer.
Well, got a backer, but still at that point,
being placed on behalf of someone else.
Being placed on behalf of someone else, or now you got that translator in your pocket and you can get inside information about what's going to happen in some of these games. Like there's a pitcher, his oblique muscle got strained today in bullpen practice. He's going to be scratched for the next 2 weeks. Give that information to the bookie first before it hits the news, and now the bookie can make some serious money on the other bets. So there's that. There's also a weird thing going on with the initial explanation was that Shohei was covering his debts for him. How does Shohei is he just a nice guy? And he's like, yeah, I'll pay $4.5 million worth of your debt. You'd probably fire that guy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a lot. This isn't like $50,000. Like, obviously Shohei makes a lot of money. It's not like $50,000, $100,000 worth of debt that you're taking. This guy got in too deep. He owes all this money. This is $4.5 million worth of debt. I don't think that you do that to that level just for your employee.
Think about this. There is a recorded bet for $1 million on July 22nd, 2022.
I'm very confident what you're reading is fake.
I think there was community notes
from Timmy Smokes.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. If what you're reading is true and like that random Twitter account knows about it, then he would have been this. Yeah, it's fake.
Timmy Smokes.
It's fake.
Timmy Smokes is a liar?
Well, it was like all these basically insinuating that Shohei was throwing games, and this guy knew about somehow these massive bets that were placed with a bookie in Japan. Like, I don't know how this guy would know about that.
Yeah, it was like in his hometown, it was saying, like in Shohei Ohtani's hometown.
Yeah, and if that guy knows about it, then like MLB would know about it, and he would already be banned. So
or they're covering up for him.
Well, not well if Timmy Smokes knows about it.
Well, let's see.
There's no evidence that is true.
There's speculation. That he may have been throwing games. But let's figure it out right now. What was the stats for Shohei Ohtani on July 22nd, 2022?
Billy, nobody is denying that the stats from that day, he may have had a bad game. We're denying that this guy would know about $1 million bet placed in Japan. Yeah,
because Timmy Smokes might have just found
he looked at the games that Shohei
one box score where
I know, but if it isn't right, I mean it would be. It's usually when people make stuff up. Braves that so it is. So he at least got the stats right. So if it's a troll job, it's a little more significant of a troll job.
Yes, Billy, he went to the games he went to his bad games.
Okay, perfect.
I was at the worst game of Shohei's career.
Probably threw it.
Could have. I bought a ticket, went by myself specifically to watch Shohei Ohtani play. He was pitching. He gave up, it was either 7 or 8 earned runs in the top of the first inning, got pulled, and at the time, they didn't have the rule that you could stay in as the DH, so he was removed from the game. I turned around and went home. Because of that, I wasn't watching Yankees-Angels for 3 hours without Shohei playing. And Trout, I don't believe, was playing either.
No. So, yeah, it's quite a conundrum for Major League Baseball. They are so upset that this happened. This is the worst possible news.
Yeah.
Worst possible.
And
as a fan of baseball, I would not like Shohei to be suspended. Maybe no, I would like him to be. I don't want him to be banned. I want to watch Shohei Ohtani.
Are we sure this all is true yet?
Well, no, so we're not 100% sure. There's a chance that his interpreter was lying and his interpreter logged into Shohei's bank accounts and transferred the money without Shohei knowing about it.
I would say there's a 20% chance that what they're saying is true.
The chance exists, and that he's been lying to Shohei this entire time, and Shohei just found out about it in the way that he's described. But also, even in that scenario, this guy that owed $4.5 million would have had to receive $4.5 million worth of credit from a bookie for no real reason.
Right.
Unless maybe he was just lying to the guy and saying he was. There's a chance that the interpreter had been telling the bookie that he's putting these bets in for Shohei without Shohei's knowledge. That's probably less likely, but that seems like it'll be their defense.
I was going to say, because if that's the defense, like,
it would be very hard to prove that Shohei knew.
Okay.
If Shohei is saying I didn't know,
which is a good thing for Shohei,
and if the interpreter sticks to the fact that he lied to Shohei this entire time and didn't tell him. So there's like a little tightrope that they have to walk there. And if they are, it's going to be very hard to prove that the interpreter knew. Or excuse me, that Shohei knew. Yeah.
So the bookie, this dude, Matthew Bowyer, I don't know if it's Boyer, but there's a W in there, He says that he met Shohei through a mutual friend. Oh no, he met Ippei through a mutual friend, and he's going with, yeah, he's saying that he never met Shohei. And this
Yeah.
dude looks like the biggest bookie dude of all time. Like he's definitely TRT. He's jacked up, fake beard, balding. Oh, nope, he's got like hair transplant hair. Yeah, this guy's a bookie. This guy's, if you Google his
Yeah,
face,
he's a bookie.
He's got that bookie look. And this is why we should push for legalized gambling, because it's going to end up saving more people with problems than because they're going to bet anyway. So this is why gambling should be legalized.
Yeah, you can't bet on credit at a legal sports book.
Yeah.
So you can't get into these massive amounts of debt, like $4.5 million. But, ooh, buddy.
I'm very fascinated by this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are Dodgers fans going through right now?
Right, but especially because it's this guy who is the best player in the sport that nobody really knows anything about because he doesn't speak English, at least publicly.
We just found out that he had a wife last week.
Yeah. He was like, "Hey, this is my wife." It's
Why did we find out last week that he had a wife?
very interesting.
Because he got married?
No, I think they've been married. They did a
I think
wife
they've been
reveal
married for
last
like a
week.
Little PR tour.
They did a wife reveal last week to maybe get ahead of this story. And she's like one of the most famous athletes in Japan, right?
Yeah, basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Shohei wife reveal. Why?
So that
Followed crumbs.
like, he can't be a gambler. He's married. Someone else is looking over his finances.
I did see some people being like, Shohei wouldn't do something like this. We know nothing about this guy. We've seen him like smile and wave.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, I guess. He's a great baseball player. All of his statements are fantastic.
Right.
He makes good statements.
Seems like a happy-go-lucky guy.
I just want to it must be nice to just say like, oh, I don't understand that question. I can't answer it. I would like to say that to people that are asking me questions in English too.
Yeah.
And just release every single quote that I have is a statement that I've released through a PR firm. I never actually have to say anything. People be like, "Oh man, PFT's a great dude."
Mm-hmm.
Think about the control an interpreter has, like, over a guy who doesn't speak English, and like he literally controls him to a T. So you could see how this power could get to his head and him manipulate him.
At some point, you start to think that you are Shohei.
Yeah. Or funny. It would be funnier if Shohei actually was fluent in English and he was just like, he just doesn't want to say shit. So he just has the interpreter do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, he should have to answer questions. Can we not get another interpreter for him?
Right, that's the other thing. Why can't we just get
Well,
a new
I think it's
interpreter?
not that. I think it's he said, I'm not taking questions.
He needs to answer questions.
Because they're not going to let him do that at this point.
So he gave like a statement through his PR crisis team to ESPN. And then after he gave that statement, then he found out what was really going on with his bookie, he says, or with his interpreter and his bookie. And then he was like, no, that entire statement that I released to the PR team is actually not true. Here's the new truth.
The fact that they've already changed the story leads me to believe it's something far more nefarious.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of nefarious, not to change the subject, but Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the Kim Mulkey thing, she's going with a strategy of doing a press conference to tell people not to read an article that's coming out about her.
Never a good sign.
Never a good sign. I don't know what's going to be in the article. If you're a fan of women's college basketball, you've known about Kim Mulkey for years. You know that some of her players don't like her. Some of her players love her. She is very much like the center of attention in any game that she coaches. She's a little bit crazy. She is the last person that you want to see if you're a server and they come into your restaurant and sit down at one of your tables.
It's probably fair.
Yeah, she definitely puts like $20 worth of ones on the table. And then if you're longer than 30 seconds coming over to give her water, she takes away $1. She's like, see that stack of money right there, honey? I'm taking away $1 for every time you're late coming to my table to bust me. She's definitely a Yelp power reviewer too. But she is there's been investigation or a report, an article. There's an article, not
hit
investigation.
piece.
There's an article that's coming out about her, allegedly, that somebody's been working on for a couple years, trying to get her to comment on. We don't know what's in the article. It could be a profile of her, the good and the bad. It could be the bad. It could be a specific incident that she doesn't want to talk about. We don't know what's in it, but she's not happy with the Washington Post. So she did a press conference warning people about the Washington Post, saying that she will sue the newspaper if there's any lies that come out. So now everyone's like, I got to read this article. Like, it's a Streisand effect. We don't know what's in the. Do we want to speculate?
I don't want to speculate.
I will not speculate either. What if it was just like a profile of Kim Mulkey and how great of a coach she is?
That would be hysterical.
Yeah, and she got all worked up. And she's like, well, it's no coincidence that it's coming out this time of year when we're in the tournament. They're trying to distract us. I agree with that. I think the article is definitely coming out right now because Kim Mulkey is in the NCAA tournament.
For maximum visibility.
That's when most people would read an article about Kim Mulkey.
For sure.
I don't know that the author is putting it out because he hates LSU women's basketball.
It would be
and he
hilarious
wants to
if
see
the
them
author
fail.
was like an Iowa grad and was trying
Yeah.
to just distract LSU or South Carolina or whatever.
Yeah, that would be great. That I would respect that move from the author.
It's probably gonna be something like the Harvard women's hockey hit piece, just talking about toxicity in the program.
Yeah,
Have you read that one?
I didn't read that one.
That one rocked the hockey community, but basically just like talking about, and this happens in all sports, especially college sports, where the coaches have a lot more power. It's just like how the mind games and like the gaslighting dynamics between coaches and like trying to get the best out of players, because there's a lot of great coaches, and the reason why they're great at it is because they literally gaslight the best out of their players. So and it's crazy to see it firsthand.
Yeah, so they college coaches for sure. Like, you have to, if you want to be an elite college sports coach, you have to know how to push and pull your players, and you can't be nice to everybody all the time. Again, I don't know what's in the article about Kim Mulkey. I don't know if it's about her being mean or about her doing really bad stuff. But every elite college coach definitely is not always nice all the time. In fact, some of the greatest ones are assholes. Bobby Knight, asshole, great coach. Urban Meyer.
I mean,
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban. By the way, I just started watching the documentary. I know it came out a long time ago, of Urban Meyer and Florida.
It's the worst documentary ever made. I could barely call it a documentary.
Because
it's pretty hype.
Because it's from like Urban Meyer's point of view.
Oh, I mean, they're just blowing Urban Meyer.
It's an Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow suckfest.
There is a about 3-minute stretch where you think, oh, now they're going to get into the good stuff. And then that's it, and it's never mentioned again.
Well, one of the craziest parts was showing one of the drills that they used to do at practice to like toughen up the team. Do you remember that drill?
No.
Like, two guys would have to get on the mat, and one guy would get on the other guy's back.
Okay, yeah.
And have him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
And just have his like arms and legs wrapped around the guy. Then the other guy would have to like elbow him and try to escape the chokehold and drag him across the mat. And it was just like a guy beating the fuck out of another guy. He's like, yeah, that was a drill that we had to toughen guys up. It's like, this is like, I understand both sides of it. At one side, it's definitely abuse. You're definitely taking like 18-year-olds and being like, I want you guys to beat the absolute shit out of each other. I'm going to blow my whistle, and then I want you to conduct violence against this person.
But that's football. That's football.
This was not football, though.
Football. That's football.
If you watch, Billy, have you seen the drill?
I've watched it.
So
they're trying to make sure he doesn't get across the line.
Yeah,
right?
yes. So on one side of it, it's definitely abuse. On the other side of it, this is how you make a world-beating football team that dominates the SEC.
I love the
like
part
you can't beat LSU and Alabama year in, year out if you're not abusing your players.
Was it Spikes? Spikes was on that team, right?
Spikes was on that team, yeah. Well,
yeah.
He came in a little bit later, but yeah, he was on the team.
Yeah, but him being like, I thought we were going to Iraq when they were like all in camo and they're like in the weight room, like we were training like the Navy SEALs, like we were being told we're going to war. Like that type of coaching into players, like I always found funny now that I'm removed from it, but it's an actual mentality. People are like, oh my God, like this game is everything. Like that first game of the season that you always talk about throughout the off season is going to be like a war. Like that is always like, it's so removed from it. It's hilarious, but in the moment, it's actually so motivating.
Yeah. I mean, Urban Meyer has giant posters up at his facilities that say train like a United States soldier. Like he does think that he's in the military. But yeah, I'm sure you can find like every elite college institution in a sport like football. They have some things that if a reporter sat down and documented in words what the drills were, people would be like, holy shit, this looks bad. It would look very bad reading about it, but that's how you get good at sports. That's how you get really good.
The thing is, it's going to impact women's sports first because I think it's more shocking that like this is how I think there's more stuff that will be more shocking because it's women involved, right? Like that's what was so shocking about the Harvard women's hockey thing was because you can't just be outright like wrestle each other on a mat until one of you quits or gets choked out, but it's more like gaslighting behind the scenes and like mental manipulation.
Yeah. I would actually say this might be good for ratings in the tournament.
Yeah.
Like after the article comes out, people are going to watch LSU play, right? And LSU,
I think the Angel Reese getting benched, I think that's probably what some of this is about.
Maybe, but LSU's they're not going to discipline her at least until the tournament's over. LSU doesn't give a shit, right? Like remember Will Wade got caught on a wiretap making offers, like giving people money, and LSU was like, "Yeah, we don't really care about that." And they were only, eventually they were forced to have to let him go, but they held on way longer than people thought.
LSU, one of, if not the most win at all cost school in the country.
Yeah. Who else would you put up there?
Auburn.
Bama. Bama's definitely up there.
Yeah, but like they've never really had to. I mean, like Saban was for sure doing shit that everybody else was doing, but they never had like a scandal or anything that they were like, we'll stick through this. Like,
well,
Alabama
not
basketball.
The football team, but the basketball team.
Oh yeah, wow, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
Texas.
I don't think so. I think if something really bad happened at Texas, they'd be like, we're better people than this.
You think so?
I think
they have like a minor case of Duke?
Yeah. No, they for sure view themselves as like different than everybody else. Like they have a superiority thing for sure.
It's true.
Especially over like A&M and other in-state schools.
Yeah, Florida schools, Miami.
Florida and Miami, yeah. But LSU and Auburn might be one too.
Ohio State. They have a little bit of that Texas in them too, though. Like remember remember Jim Tressel and the free tattoos?
Yeah.
They're like, this is a sad day for college sports.
What a stupid story that is now.
So dumb. So dumb. This kid got a free tattoo. It's a dark day for athletics.
Yeah.
Dark day.
They weren't even free. I think they were giving the tattoo people like sweatsuits and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was. They would give them like jerseys.
Yeah,
like game worn jerseys.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
disgusting. The stuff we used to care about.
Rico Bosco should be in prison if that's the standard.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like if this Rico Bosco and all the sweatsuits he's taken, that's enough to give the death penalty to Alabama basketball, Utah State basketball. And also a show cause thing now going with Washington basketball. It's a sad day.
Most powerful phone on the East Coast, though.
I would like to shout out Rico Bosco, though, for hooking JMU basketball up with a gym to shoot around in.
Led them to victory.
Their AD was very, very happy with Rico and the gym that they got to use. That would not have been possible without that phone. So, Rico.
Powerful.
Great job, Rico.
We've talked about college basketball a couple times today. I have a teed off.
Okay.
Have you seen the tip-off times for the Sweet 16?
I did see him yesterday, but I forget.
All right. I'm going to – let me talk to me about this,
okay.
Right? Okay. So last year, The Sweet 16 games started at 6:30 and I believe 7:15 Eastern, with the games and then a game after each of those, obviously. 2 games at each site. This year, it's 7:09 and 7:39, but that's not the worst part. So on Thursday, 7:09 p.m. Eastern, Clemson, Arizona tips off in Los Angeles. That's a 4 o'clock local tip.
Yep.
At 7:39, Yale and UConn play in Boston. So we have the games starting 30 minutes later in Eastern time than in Pacific. And then obviously there's 2 games after that. So Illinois, Iowa State in Boston, not start until 10:15. Following day, same thing, 7:09 p.m. Eastern in Dallas, which is 6:10 Central. And then the games in Detroit start at 7:39. Last game on Friday is Creighton, Tennessee. Following Purdue, Gonzaga. I don't know if you've watched a Purdue game this year. They take 2.5 hours. They shoot 38 free throws. Tennessee, Creighton for a trip to the Elite Eight is going to start at 10:30 Eastern.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's criminal.
That sucks. So it's Gonzaga, Purdue playing before that, right?
Correct.
Which game do you think will have higher ratings? Like, which is a more nationally impactful?
Purdue, probably.
You think Purdue because of the Zach Edey factor? People want to watch that guy.
They will hate watch it. Yeah,
they'll hate watch it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The only thing I can think of for Thursday is they're just trying to fuck UConn over again. Trying to fuck them over.
I mean, UConn got the better deal.
I know.
And Hurley was so mad
I know.
about
I'm trying to figure out why Hurley was mad. He's like, this is another case of the committee going after us.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, coaches are going to just find whatever bulletin board material they can think of. It's stupid. The tip times are too late.
Crazy.
It's too late.
And I knew I wasn't going insane. They were 30 minutes earlier last year. 40.
Yeah. Why do you think they're doing that?
I don't know. It could go deep. It could be a conspiracy. Jack Mack's big on this. That CBS and the NCAA are in cahoots somehow. And I don't know what the reason for this would be yet, but I could see it.
Why would they want to make the games later? What time is it on the West Coast again?
The games in LA tip at 4:09 and then 2.5 hours after that.
But they
were going to it's just ridiculous to have that one first and then Boston it should be Boston starting at 7:09.
Agreed.
And then LA at 4:40.
Agreed. Billy has a theory. Billy.
Sorry, I got distracted. Apparently, I'm going on Wake Up Mincy tomorrow. I had no idea.
That's big for the campaign.
That's huge for the campaign. Apparently, I promised him I'd do this, and then I forgot about it because of the campaign. And now I'm back on Wake Up Mincy, and apparently he's going to grill me. So I have to do some prep.
Yeah, Mincy told me that you were going on Wednesday, but that got bumped up to Tuesday.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, he said it's going to be a great debate.
This is probably going to be the biggest grilling of all time. So we'll see. Yeah, you guys got nothing on Wake Up Mincy.
This is the Frost Nixon of our generation.
I mean,
Mincy Billy.
I'm gonna have to be prepping all night for this.
Big T, it'd be a real shame if someone were to give Mincy some questions to ask Billy tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know who would do that.
A real shame.
I might have to postpone it.
That's not a good look.
A bad start for the campaign.
Not a good look. Looks like you're afraid of the tough questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody has
fair,
any politician survived Wake Up Mincy?
I don't know. No one has ever gone to Wake Up Mincy and gotten elected.
Survived Wake Up Mincy, so how hard can it be?
Multiple
That's
times.
a great point. Patrick Mahomes, he won the Super Bowl.
True.
After going on Wake Up Mincy.
True.
Yeah, there's some precedent there.
God, you're listening to this right now. It may have all gone wrong on Wake Up Mincy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll look forward to watching that, Billy.
Sorry. So what's the conspiracy?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Jack Mack. He just thinks they're trying to fuck over the Big East, I guess, because the Big East has a deal with Fox.
I do think that, pardon my takes, rivalries were absolutely exploited for content with Duke, Vermont, and JMU, Wisconsin. I don't know.
I don't want to think that highly of ourselves to think that like they scheduled this game to fuck with us.
As an outsider, I absolutely.
But I do think that there's an outside chance that that all it would take would be one AD in that room after the seeds were already given out. So Wisconsin is at 5, JMU's at 12, The 12s and 5s have to play each other. All it would take for there to be that matchup would be one AD in the room that maybe is aware of our show that would say, I really like this one matchup between JMU and Wisconsin. Here's why I think those styles will create a compelling matchup. And most people in the room would be like, yeah, that sounds good, sure. It would just take one person. So I don't know if it was or not, but I wish that we had played a different team just because I know Big Cat got very upset at Hank, and that was like walking on eggshells when he came into the office on Saturday. Bad vibes in the office to get things started. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the way it turned out. Very happy. But there is a conspiracy against the Big East. I agree with that. Also, the ACC is really good, and the SEC stinks. How happy?
Well, the bad teams in the SEC stink.
How happy are you with what's going on in Kentucky?
It's pretty funny.
Was that a great?
They're all on pins and needles today. Like nobody knows what's there. Apparently today is like the day that they're deciding one way or the other.
Coach Cal to JMU?
He could be looking for a job very soon.
I would like to make an official offer to Coach Cal. Coach Cal to JMU, lifetime job, and then I will say I will be a lifetime Coach Cal supporter.
Will you sweeten the deal?
I'll sweeten the deal. What can I offer? Free part of my cheesesteaks for life in Harrisonburg.
What about fries?
And yes, and fries.
Okay.
Limit one soda per order. To Coach Cal, unlimited for, you can order one cheesesteak at a time. Let's say one cheesesteak per day. For life to Coach Cal if he goes to JMU. Offer only valid at Harrisonburg, part of my cheesesteak location.
Okay.
I'll make that offer right now.
What's the nicest neighborhood in Harrisonburg?
Oh, buddy. Hunter's Ridge, pretty good.
Okay.
They bulldozed Ashby to the ground. Forest Hills Manor? Forest Hills Manor. That's where you want to be. I'll get you the nicest place in Forest Hills Manor. Wonderful, wonderful location. Really good Dairy Queen nearby. We'll hook it up. We'll pull out all the stops for Coach Cal. I'm actually going to tweet that out right now and see if I can. Or no, I'll wait until Kentucky makes a decision on him.
I'm seeing a nice 3 beds, probably too small.
Yeah.
Nice $2.2 million house in Harrisonburg. Or Elkton, Virginia. How far is that?
Elkton's it's a suburb of Harrisonburg. The meth isn't as good. Is he going to bring Brad with him?
I'm not sure.
Package deal. You know what? I'll double that offer if Brad comes with him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, balls in your court.
Explain to me, this must be on just a crazy amount of land. This $8 million, 2,800 square foot house in Mount Crawford.
I'm not familiar with Mount Crawford's game.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's our old president. Our president is leaving and going to, I think, American University.
Well, the house kind of sucks. It must just be on crazy amount of land. Yeah, the house stinks, actually.
There's treasure.
Could
It
be.
could be a bunker.
I'm not seeing a lot of houses that would attract Coach Cal in Harrisonburg.
We can build one.
This looks nice. I'll send you this one. You might be in the market for this later.
Okay. Yeah, send that over to me. Blue Ridge Mountains are fantastic, by the way. Tremendous scenery.
Great part of the country.
You got the Shenandoah River right nearby. You're just a stone's throw away from West Virginia.
Blue Ridge Mountains.
Charlottesville is about 45 minutes away.
Oh, look at
Hour
this.
and a half to Dulles Airport.
Look at the view off that porch.
Oh, that's beautiful. Coach Cal would love that.
Yeah.
Look at that place.
$1.8 million. He can pay for that cash.
Easy, Coach Cal. A lot of people just found out also that JMU has a fee. Every student that attends college there pays like $2,000 either a semester or a year that goes just to athletics.
I mean, every school has that.
No, I think we're one of the only colleges that has that. Like, it's a specific sports fee.
I'm almost certain UT has it.
You think so?
I'm very, very sure.
Okay, well, we might be the only one in the state that has that. But also, JMU is a very affordable institution, so it's one of the perks of going there. You get good sports.
I think that's at most colleges.
I
Maybe
do not
most
think
big
Miami,
ones.
Ohio had something like that going on.
I'm looking. I'm going to find it. But
Okay.
I don't know if there was a action fee.
They understand that having good athletics departments increases donations and national branding for your college, and it's a good thing.
Since the 2022 football season, UT's acceptance rate when I was there is like 75%, something like that. It's like 35 now.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens to schools that just do good at sports.
Yeah. It's the best branding you can possibly have.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it for us today. We will see you guys on Thursday. I've talked to Jeff D. Lowe about coming on the show. He wants to talk about Super Size Me, the movie.
I'm intrigued.
And the fallout that happened across the fast food industry because of things that were said in this movie that may or may not have turned out to be true.
I love some Jeff D. Lowe when he's not fucking us on questions. So.
Yep, that's how we feel. So I think we might do that for Thursday's show. All right, we will see you guys on Thursday. Love you guys.